Hello. On today's show, we have an organization of active and retired law enforcement officers that is helping young children and teenagers in the communities. Find out on Protecting Our Community. Hello and welcome to Protecting Our Community. I'm your host, Brian Quill. Our goal is to improve the quality of living by giving you the knowledge of the agencies and organizations that are here to protect you and your community. On today's show, we have Deborah Francis, President of the Philadelphia chapter of the National Organization of Black Law Enforcement Executives, also known as NOBLE, Sherry Holber, President of Delaware NOBLE chapter, and Joseph Bryant Jr., Delaware NOBLE Immediate Past chapter President. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So, as a NOBLE member, I wanted to bring you guys onto the show and talk about NOBLE and all the great things that you're doing in the communities. So, first, why did you get into law enforcement?
Well, basically, I got into law enforcement because I like helping people. I'm a people person. I like to get out there and connect with different people, learn different things, but also be someone that is going to be a change for them in some kind of way. So I just love what I do, and I just wanted to be a part of a changing culture.
Okay.
I got into law enforcement on a whim. Was a single parent raising two kids, looking for stable income, stable security as far as insurance was concerned. Someone at HR found out I had a degree in psychology and asked me would I be interested in joining the police department. And I was like, so I did. I was only female in my class of 30, and it turned out to be a very rewarding experience for me. I met a lot of great people. I think I've influenced a lot of African Americans and females in general and males in general. So it's really been a good experience for me, giving back to the community as well as helping those in the community.
Okay. Right. Joseph.
And for me, it was something that happened in my family. My older brother, by 1 year, was killed by a Wilmington police officer. And at the time, we were able to get very little information from the department about how it happened, who did it, and why. So when I went to the University of Delaware, I majored in criminal justice. And I did that because I wanted to do an internship so I could go into the City of Wilmington Police Department and go through their files and find out firsthand what happened. But before that happened, I took a class, Problems in Policing, and one of the topics of discussion was shoot, don't shoot, the use of force. And I learned at that point that the officer was right, my brother was wrong. Okay. So that's how I got there, and it's been, as the other two, it's been a rewarding career for me in every sense of the word. I'm sure we'll get into that a little bit more later.
Okay. I don't think that a lot of people realize, being in law enforcement for so many years, a lot of people get into law enforcement because of experiences like that. Because either they were a victim or a family member was a victim. And they want to get in there because they want to help or prevent it from happening to someone else. About NOBLE, can you explain about how NOBLE started and when it started and why are you in NOBLE?
Well, NOBLE was actually started in 1976. And it was, I'm just going to condense it because there's a lot of history to it, but basically there were black chiefs throughout the nation who were called to meet in DC to discuss some of the issues that were affecting the communities, basically the black African American communities, minority communities. And they, agencies across the country needed to find a way how they can be able to better serve and connect with communities. So when they came together, they realized that collectively they had a voice, that when they went into a room that they could be stronger together than to be divided. So it kind of, started that way. But we have, anyone here want to add?
That's essentially it. It was an issue among the black chiefs across the country, and they were just trying to find a way to address those issues in their communities. So when they walked out of that meeting in Washington, D.C., there were, I think, 20 or so, and they made a decision to move forward and create an organization, and it happened to be Noble.
Now, how long have you been involved with Noble?
Good question. Probably close to 25
Wow.
25 years.
So that's a pretty long time.
Yeah.
So have you seen a change? Has Noble made an impact in the community and in law enforcement?
Yes. I can talk about Delaware in particular and the impact that our chapter has made down there. We have, and I'll do it this way, of all the chiefs in the state of Delaware, a quarter of them are Noble members. And the top 5 agencies size-wise in Delaware are run or were run by members of Noble. So we made an impact in that regard. We have, and we'll talk about this later, we have a collegiate chapter, and we created that collegiate chapter for a reason. We wanted to try to bring more folks of color into our profession. There were always complaints out from the different chiefs across the state that they couldn't find qualified black officers to join our forces. Well, that's not the case anymore. We have produced a great number of our collegiate members who are now law enforcement officials, either in Delaware or someplace in this country.
Can we touch on the membership? What kind of membership are involved with the chapters throughout the country? Is it just captains and chiefs, or do we have other members involved?
So we actually have other members involved. Yes, we have captains, we have chiefs, we have corporals, we have regular patrolmen, patrol women, but we also have paramedics. I know in Delaware chapter we have the paramedics that are involved. We have members from the Department of Corrections that are involved. We have members who are a part of probation and parole that are involved, and some officers who are on police agencies at the local college campuses are also involved in our chapter as well.
It's a misnomer. Because of that word executives, a lot of our police officers under the rank of lieutenant are under the impression that it's not for them. And that is not the case. It's really open to all in law enforcement. In addition to folks in the criminal justice field, we have folks from the business community in our chapter. We have, again, we have college students, we have college professors in our chapter. So it's not just geared towards police executives, even though that's what the title is.
Where do you hold your meetings in Delaware?
In our case, we do every other month. It's on the campus of Delaware State University, because we know that students don't have the wherewithal, the card, and the finances to travel up north, the northern part of the state. So every other month we're on the campus at Delaware State University. And then when it's up north in the Wilmington area, we tend to do it in different police departments, precincts, just to move it around, because we want people to know and see who we are.
And Philadelphia?
Well, I like that idea, but we don't do that. We actually currently meet at the Philadelphia School District headquarters on 400 block of North Broad Street, 401 North Broad. And they were kind enough to extend us, the opportunity to use space there to meet once a month, and it's always the first Tuesday of every month, except after election or a major holiday. Then it's the second Tuesday of the month. But I like that idea of moving it around, because that's something that our chapter, we don't have the luxury that they have, where they have where they have that membership, where they have they can claim that they have police chiefs throughout the state that is a part of their chapter. So I'd always look at Delaware chapter as my sister chapter. And we do a lot of things, we collaborate together because it's a partnership. We all, throughout the nation, Noble is about making sure that we are always supporting each other, because it's all about making sure that we do the best thing for the communities.
Okay. So I want to bring up a topic. Back in January 2018 on ABC Nightline, with co-anchor Brian Pitts, aired a show with national and our local chapter in Philadelphia of Noble in the northwest section of Philadelphia. How did that come about and the reasons behind it?
Well, We got contacted by the New Covenant Non-Denominational Church up in Chestnut Hill section of Philadelphia. And they contacted Noble because they wanted us to come out and, you know, address some of the concerns that residents were having, citizens were having in the northwest part of Philadelphia. And Nightline was invited. It was facilitated by the church, and they wanted us to do a presentation of the law in your community. We came out and we started doing presentation, and it's scenario-based, is also informational, it's giving people the insight as to knowing what their constitutional rights are. Also, you know, having the Philadelphia Police Department there so that they're showing support, but then they also provide information as to what the laws are and what our policies and procedures are and how to file complaints and just different things, just so that the community could be educated on what policing is about, what our responsibilities are as police officers, but also what the citizens' responsibility is as when they're engaging police.
And you conduct the same type of
Yes, we do.
educational
Yes, sir,
programs
we
down
do.
there?
Yes, sir, we do.
Are you finding this beneficial? Is it helping the community? Is it making an impact? Like, what's the input or the people who are attending? What's their feedback on the whole thing?
They actually, at first they're a little apprehensive when we come in, because a lot of our officers who do the law in your community come in uniform, and some of us come dressed down. So they're a little, you know, they've heard bad things about cops or this and that. So after the presentation, well, while we're in the middle of the presentations, we get them involved with questions. We do different types of scenarios, different car type scenarios. We do pedestrian stop scenarios, and we also allow for a question and answer period as well too. Then at the end of that, it's like, can we learn more? Do you do any mentoring in the schools, in our neighborhoods? Or sometimes when they see you out, hey, you were at my school, and you know, they learn different things from our side versus the other side. They get a chance to look through our lenses as what we deal with on a daily basis as police officers. So they enjoy the program.
What we've done in Delaware, we reached out to all the superintendents in the state of Delaware because we wanted to get in every high school in Delaware and put this presentation on. I think 4 or so of the school districts had us come, and as the chapter president said, both of them, when we walk in the door, they're hands off. But we train them, we talk about the PowerPoint, and it tells you the do's and the don'ts. And then we show them by doing role playing. And then they have an opportunity to spend time and ask us questions, just have a conversation with us. Because most young folks have not, when you talk to them, have not had just a basic normal conversation with an officer in uniform. So the way we do it is we give them that chance to do that, just to ask us whatever they care to ask about who we are, why, like you asked earlier, why did we become police officers? What made us do it? Why did we do it? And the impact has been tremendous, to be perfectly honest.
From your own experience with law and community and the kids talking to you, what is the major concern that they express, the problems that they have or had with law enforcement?
Being respected,
Yeah.
being heard, being valued. Those are some of the things that I know from dealing with, you know, with questions when they present them. When you're talking to youth, sometimes they feel as though that we dismiss them. We don't take them serious, or we don't think that their opinion is important to listen to. So basically, you know, having the opportunity to sit down and talk to young people, you encourage them to be able to have a voice, to speak up and to express themselves. And sometimes it may not come out as we may want it to come out, but that's why we do mentoring, because we help them to develop their communication skills so that if you really want people to hear you, is how you deliver that message. You could still, you know, have that passion and you know, behind it, but it's also the way they present the information, how they articulate it. So it gives us the insight when we do the law in your communities and we go into these different environments with the schools or churches, community centers, and the young people come in, it's very important for us, and I know they agree, is to make everyone feel valued. That is what is the most
I
important.
agree. Yeah. All right. We're going to take a short break, but when we come back, we'll discuss other programs and activities provided to the community through Noble.
that has the resources that Noble has.
It has definitely exposed me to numerous opportunities, advancement in my career, also exposure to mentorships and different trainings.
I think it's definitely worth it. It's definitely worth it.
And I was like, yeah, I need to join this organization because I know that they can help me better my career aspiration as an attorney.
The Delaware chapter of Noble was reestablished in the fall of 2003. The membership consisted of public safety officials from federal, state, local, and bi-state agencies, along with civilians and members of the business community. In 2004, the chapter launched a partnership with Delaware State University to enhance the working relationship between students and the law enforcement community. In 2006, our chapter was recognized by the university. To date, our collegiate membership has surpassed 650 students. The goal of the chapter membership is to expose members to the different career fields within criminal justice and public safety, raise awareness regarding trending social justice issues, and to enhance police-community relations. All of our chapter members serve as mentors to the students by providing one-on-one professional coaching by helping the students hone specific skills and knowledge that will enhance their career path. Mentorship includes professional guidance and support, leadership training, job readiness training, and mock interviews for various career opportunities. Some of the on-campus training sessions include resume writing, interview prep sessions, writing exam sessions, polygraph exam tips, and dress for success. Mentorship has been a valuable asset to the members. To date, chapter members have been hired by approximately 20 agencies across the country.
Welcome back to our Protecting Our Community. I'm your host, Brian Coyle. I have representative with us from the National Organization of Black Law Enforcement Executives, more commonly known as Noble. So, the universities, Noble has made a great impact on some of the universities. Can you explain that impact?
Well, I'm going to say the Philadelphia chapter we have, and we're still, but we are on a hiatus with our Lincoln University chapter, and they were very active. But I want to talk about Del State. Now, Del State is the first. They were the ones to set the foundation on how we should go about, establishing a relationship with a university, and they do a phenomenal job. I mean, all of what they do. And would y'all like to talk about your Del State?
Please.
Well, I'll start off. Back in 2003, the Delaware Noble chapter, we were reestablishing ourselves. And at our first couple of meetings, we wanted to have a mission. We wanted to have a focus or a purpose for being there. We didn't want to be a social group. We wanted to do something that would truly impact our community. So we decided to create a relationship with Delaware State University and the students that majored in criminal justice or related fields. So in 2004, we started that relationship, and it's been going on ever since. We have more than 600 plus students who have come through our program that we've mentored, that's moved on from Del State into a job in our profession and beyond. It's one that's been well received by the school itself. They recognize us for that relationship that we've established with these young folks, and our kids, our students. We call them kids. I call them kids. They simply they've gotten the best out of out of this relationship.
Okay. What is this program with the on the monitor? Can you explain what's going on?
On the screen there, about a year and a half ago, the students wanted to go through a mock police academy. So we contracted with Newcastle County Police to use their police academy. We had the students show up at 7 o'clock a.m. Our drill sergeants were out there. And we had then brought them inside, and actually we had a whole day with them where we went through a series of things that you would in part go through in a police academy. From the physical fitness side, going through some classes, the driving simulator, the shoot, don't shoot simulator, those kind of things.
So it's Cop for the Day.
It's a cop for the day.
And you know, I know from the past having programs like that,
Right.
the kids or the young adults, they really realize what a law enforcement officer has to go through.
Right.
The physical as well as the mental aspect of that, and trying to control somebody, especially if they're under the influence of alcohol and drugs, and it could be very difficult.
Right.
Or somebody's just angry at the world and they want to challenge the police.
Yeah.
So he's trying to teach them how to de-escalate the situation.
And it's what's great about this, they want to do it again. These students want to go through another mock police academy, and hopefully sometime before this school year is up, we'll be able to make that happen. Yeah.
So I know at the Philadelphia chapter, we have programs that we run, and we did one not too long ago with the grade school. And do you want to explain about that?
Yes, every year we, in May, and it's actually a national thing that we all do, but in Philadelphia in May, we do Be Here for Kids program. And basically, we go into a school and we do a presentation on safety tips. So it's basically having the children, they have their own separate program, and their parents are invited as well, and then some of the staff members in a separate room. We discuss different things. So it basically is educating the children on what the dangers exist. Now, years ago, dangers, we used to talk about how, you know, if you're walking down the street, walking pairs, and most people thought the dangers were people that were outside of their homes. But now we had to incorporate with the advancement of technology, dangers exist within your own home. And that's through the internet and, you know, these social platforms that children have, because they have their own cell phones now. So these are the dangers that we need to have them be aware of. Also, we educate their parents on the same thing. Now, we would like to expand the program. And right now, our sponsorship comes out of the South Philadelphia area. So that's why we do most of our programs in South Philadelphia, because that's where the sponsorship is from. And, you know, they designate, they want to make sure their kids are safe. But, you know, we always looking for, you know, people to help us out. We can go anywhere,
Always
but we
looking
just
for
have
more work.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
The Noble Safe Driving Education.
Okay. We have been doing the Safe Distracted Driver program for 5 years. And that's in partnership. It was sponsored by State Farm. They gave us a grant to help us out. And we have stretched those dollars so that it resulted in 5 years. We have partnered with the Pennsylvania State Police, also with the Philadelphia Police Department. And the Philadelphia Police Department allows us to use their training facility. And in their training facility, we have drivers, instructors who actually help educate the students on how the conditions that they can put themselves in when they're distracted. When they're listening to the radios, have a car full of kids that's telling them different things to do with their peers, or talking on the cell phone. And they also, even if they were impaired. And that was is a great program. They also get safety tips on how to make sure that they know to check their oil, transmission fluid, tire pressure. When you're behind a car, there's responsibilities. And I know parents would appreciate if you borrow the car from the parent, bring the car back the way you took it out. But if I didn't have any gas in it, put some extra gas in my car.
I think we have some pictures of the Noble chapter on the monitor. Can you explain about some of these events?
Okay, so this is where we had our new executive board, and this is actually not the current executive board, but This picture here, we are supporting a fundraiser for another charitable group. We partner with a lot of organizations in Philadelphia. So this one here is, we got Chapter of the Year, the Philadelphia chapter for our outstanding works. We received Chapter of the Year, and I believe that was in 2016, maybe. That's,
Okay.
oh, okay. So this one here is representing my chapter because I can't do anything by myself. I was nominated and I received the Walter Lawson Community Service Award. But the community service is based on the things that I do with our chapter, the Greater Philadelphia chapter. So anything that, if I'm getting an award for something, is actually the award for my chapter because this is who I represent.
All right. So longtime Noble member, retired Chief Inspector Art Matthews passed away February 27th, 2019. He was appointed to the Philadelphia Police Department in 1961 and retired in 1980. He also served in the United States Army. Art was a wealth of information. I personally enjoy listening to him talk about the old days in Philadelphia Police Department. He appeared on the LaSalle TV show, News You Could Use, back in September 2017 to talk about his book that he wrote called Black and Blue. Longtime member of Noble. How did he influence you?
We're going to call him Chief Matthews. I became a Noble member of the Greater Philadelphia chapter almost 20 years ago. And I got introduced to Art. And he's became my mentor. He was the one that kept it in my ear that he's seen great things for me. And he encouraged me along with another sergeant, she's retired, Sergeant Sharon Collar, to keep moving, and I'm going to be an impact on the organization. So he will always sit back and tell me about the things that he had incurred, and when he was a chief, when he was an officer, moving through the ranks as a chief, and he always wanted to reflect back. But he used to always say, the patrolmen, and I used to say, we're police officers now, but he had a significant impact on me. I can say through his mentorship and his guidance, he helped shape who I am. And he instilled some values in me that is necessary when you're in a leadership position. I can get emotional talking about him because I really miss him, because I talk to him basically once a week for almost 20 years. And this is a really, sad moment to just see this. But he was a great motivator, teacher, and leader.
We're all going to miss him.
Yes.
For more information about Noble, please visit their website, noblenational.org. I'm dedicating this show in memory of Art Matthews, Chief Art Matthews. My prayers to him and his family. Art, thanks for the history that you collected and made as a Philadelphia police officer. Thanks to representatives from Noble for joining us today, and you, the viewers, for tuning in and being part of the solution with protecting our community. So until next time, remember, protecting our community is everybody's business. Keep those eyes and ears open.